cheaters, greed, aka cosmetics, and just endless sweating, aka skill-based matchmaking or engagement matchmaking, whichever game you're playing. When you come home from work, it's not just difficult, but impossible to deal with. So real quick, here's some things. No, I'm not quitting Apex Legends. I guess second, I enjoy playing Marvel Rivals. And then third, I just like making educational content on YouTube. I enjoy trying to help others. I am not perfect by any means. I'm not the perfect gamer, but I strive to just improve and be better. This video is not going to be perfect either, so just a heads up. In today's video, I'm not aiming to rage bait. It's also stuff that I have mentioned in my live streams. We've talked about this before, but it's the start of the year and I've been thinking about this video quite a bit, and I had others review kind of just my thought process. I talked about it with my own community, I talked about it with others, and I want to look back at this video and hope that gaming for everyone just gets better, because there's been a lot of ups and downs. I mean, there's ups, but I think there's been a lot more downs as of late. And if we want games even like Marvel Rivals to succeed, well, we're going to need a lot more of a positive direction change later in the year. And you'll kind of see what I'm talking about here in a second. I'm going to timestamp everything. But again, it's time for this conversation again, and it's one of the more important ones, and I hope, again, that we look back with a smile and then we say, hey, at least we had a logical discussion and maybe we made some sort of impact. Let's start the conversation back towards the principles in gaming. Let's not shut down and say, it's just a game, go outside, go touch grass, it's not that serious, because a lot of us, this is an amazing escapism. Just like any book or movie, it's an industry that builds careers, and many are currently building their lives off of. This leads to principle number one. Cheating in video games is never okay. I know it seems insane for me to have to say this, but let's just follow me here. People spend time, money, and efforts on games, just like people don't want to watch cheating in basketball, football, NASCAR, or cheaters in Olympics at all. Competition is sacred. We all love competition. Improving and just getting better is part of the fun. Every player and person is valid and they deserve these principles in just multiplayer games. This is the first one. I would say regardless of severity, cheating, again, breaks the terms of service whenever we acknowledge it and accept it before playing any multiplayer online game. That's just the fact. And it's also just morally wrong. You're robbing somebody of their improvement and of their time. Let's be real, the quantity of cheaters have objectively increased. Let's look up Call of Duty. I've seen a lot of people talk about that consistently. And again, it's also for Apex Legends. And I've been hearing it creep up in Marvel Rivals. It's noticeable, it's blatant, it's across all skill levels, all platforms. It's done in smaller degrees, but also larger degrees. This is due to cheats being massively accessible, while most not being able to hold these types of cheats accountable for their actions. I'll give an example where you report a player, they leave, and if it's a free online multiplayer game, they just make a new account. Again, sometimes there's no option for reporting players for using scripts or either a program on PC or a device on console. These cheaters are protected, just like engagement matchmaking protects new players, but no one is protecting regular players who are above average skill level that don't cheat. These players suffer immensely. People selling scripts aren't configured by low IQ cheaters, are configured by people with real, at least understanding of computers, then massively distributed to others for monetary gain. The truth is that all modern games are infested with cheaters who pay for subscription-based mod packs. I mean, it's crazy. You can check YouTube for setup guides for Zim or whatever your favorite FPS game is like, and there's something showing how to cheat, and it's crazy. It seems like they're proud of it. It's disgusting. When so many people are allowed to cheat, it becomes just a non-verbal social dynamic, especially when they know for a fact there are zero consequences. I've seen in my own comment section where somebody says, well, I come home, I work 9 to 5, I just want an equal playing field. It's insane. And so this doesn't end until we can, as a community, express that it's just not okay. That's not acceptable. It's fraudulent. It's shameful. I mean, there are people who've built careers. I mean, I don't know names specifically, but we know there are people that cheat the system. The worst part of it is that, and this is hard, the better player you become, and when you watch guides, which is why it makes it so hard for me too, because I make guides, the more cheaters you're going to experience, because that's how matchmaking works. You're going to run into the better players. Companies know this, which is why they implement skill-based matchmaking, engagement matchmaking, and then the people who are of a lower skill level never run into a Kronos or Zen users. But the moment the algorithm determines you're above average, boom, you're in cheater lobbies. Or let's say like in Apex, if you're Diamond Plus, your likelihood of running into a cheater is pretty massive, but that sucks because you invest into the game. Same with Call of Duty. You play well, congratulations, you try to improve, now you're in cheater lobbies. It's horrible, but you're already hooked. You've already invested, you purchase cosmetics, you play with your friends, and then you cave in and purchase. I mean, I see it. People then think it's okay because they see everyone else do it and they purchase subscriptions for cheats just to keep playing the game. And that's horrible. As long as they don't have knowledge of this line of reasoning, they continue to do this to force some other drama or misdirection is what it feels like. And that's why I'm mentioning it here. It's a principle. It's important. Meanwhile, new players can't tell the difference. And that's understandable because they didn't put the time investment. Mid players struggle against nothing but new cheaters. The top players can't play the game at all without the latest cheating hardware or software, and that's unfair. I will admit there's a lot of work being done in this regard, but I'm making this video because it's still not enough. There has to be more severity or more action taking place because it's just too easy. Fair play remaining and the rest of this digital arm race for cheats is horrible, which is why cheaters feel like they always have the upper hand. It doesn't matter how severe someone's cheating, it's a simple principle of fair play that's at stake. That's the biggest thing. I'll give an example. Fortnite is suing a player for cheating. That was mentioned. I saw that post on Reddit and so forth. So again, please comment if I'm missing anything here. Just to recap, cheating is ruining our gaming landscape. And as we let more pass, it becomes more socially acceptable. That's the scary part. From dealing with hardcore aimbots and walling, and then you can purchase in stores legally strike packs, Cronus ends, and everything. I know that this sucks. By mentioning it, people are going to become aware of it. But that awareness, these are still cheats. Some call them soft hacks, but it feels like it makes it sound like it's less impactful, but they're still just as bad. It almost feels like a gateway, and that's horrible. The amount of cheaters can do with scripts is just insane. I mean, that's why Apex is trying to stop scripting as much as they did, because it is a big problem. The idea is to never skirt around this at all. Getting an unfair upper hand is just cheating. If you work 9 to 5, you come home, no one should have to deal with someone cheating in a video game. Regardless of your life circumstance, no one wants to be cheated in a video game. It's just scary how socially acceptable we say, oh, they must be cheating. And if we shift all our mindset that it's not okay, I'll give an example. Just like steroid use is not okay, it should not be used. I know that might be an extreme example, but still, it's still people are making a living and money off of it and in wasting other people's time. And time is one of the most important things we have in life. So it's scary. If we talk about how accessible it is, what if it's a pro, a streamer, a creator, and someone's caught? How do we know on a large scale how many people are not cheating the system? It's not tinfoil hat at this point. This is a countless discussion. Even in League of Legends, I know Riot discussed this. From Call of Duty, Apex, Valorant, Rainbow Six Siege, and now Marvel Rivals. It is a real problem and it's destroying our ecosystem. So on to next is principle number 2, skill-based matchmaking. Engagement matchmaking is a problem. So speaking of those working 9 to 5, some become cheaters because they use it as an escape, saying, I can't keep up, like we mentioned. Let me say how divulging and cheating, again, is never okay. But let's agree on this principle that skill-based matchmaking forces a competitive mindset. Not only, but that engagement matchmaking exists to keep you playing. You know, not every game does it, but still, it exists, and it's horrible. So many spectrums how this can work to ensure players, but also how it forces matches. I'll give an example. In Marvel Rivals, if you lose too many matches, you actually get put in quick play in a bot match. You actually face straight up bots. That's engagement matchmaking. You win around, you feel like, okay, I'm back in the game, I can play again. Now, as a old head, somebody who's been doing this for a long time, playing video games, I remember when it was just switching around teams in a lobby, when I used to play Battlefield. You know, they would see the lobby and they would scramble the teams around, so then it would balance it. That was skill-based matchmaking back in the day. Now, when coaching players, it is why they struggle to see progress. And so I'm making this video too. The minute you do better and perform well, then you are rewarded what seems like with harder lobbies. It doesn't feel like you're rewarded. You see your skill expression shine, and no, you're rewarded with much more difficult players and you're just put back down again. So it feels like an endless struggle. But also sometimes players who are still new and seeing some of the most hardcore players. That's unfair as well. That's crazy. It's like when somebody logs in, you see a predator in your lobby. You know, that's insane. I don't even know how the skill-based matchmaking works in Marvel Rivals, but it can be pretty insane too. Now, if there is none, then it could just be random and you assume that it's just random, and then you go into ranked to experience a different thing. I put this to the comment section, okay? I don't agree on bashing on noobs, okay? There has to be a bucket to protect new players, of course, because they're learning the game, but then when they leave that realm and join a more seasoned players, this is harder for more established games as we discuss the longevity. So here's the next thing as we discuss longevity. These companies need to make money, but there is a line where cosmetics and greed become a big problem. As much as I enjoy Marvel Rivals, their cosmetic approach is the same as every other game that is free to play. Let us understand, yes, I understand that companies need to make money, but here is a comment that I've seen time again where players are willing to pay for those prices if they are happy with the content they receive from the game. So meaning that they're happy with purchasing a skin because there's a new character, or there's a new map, or they're getting something in return. And also if the game feels like they're having a pleasant experience, such as the other things that we had mentioned. People know my stance on cosmetics. I'm not one who really delves heavily into them, which is why my content is not focused on just buying cosmetics, reviewing cosmetics. I will buy once in a while, but it's not as much as I have seen others purchase. The amount of money a casual player spends on skins is absolutely insane. My mindset is for better skins or rewards used to be given for better play. I'll give an example. You beat the game on hard mode so you get the best skin, not one to purchase. It would be fine if one was a similar skin, but the better looking one was unlocked through skill. Ranked rewards need to reflect this, but as we see time and time again, more is being purchasable and the chase is not there as much, and that's unfortunate. I just want to highlight it here because I think it's important to balance this out, which leads to my next point. As we kind of venture off from our 3 principles, I think content is important in all games. I mean, remember, if we have no skill-based matchmaking, we're cheater free and cosmetics are free, it doesn't mean that the game is going to be good. We need a great gameplay loop, no bugs, fairly balanced with players in a way to have their own twist, to have skill expression, to have fun, to be excited for something new to be in the game at a reasonable pace. You know, we don't expect a new character every week, but there has to be a gameplay loop and a reason to keep coming back. And of course, if it's a single player game while we're talking about multiplayer, then the single player experience has to have some weight to it, a journey, a purpose. Even if it's a short experience, does that price tag reflect it? This is why so many games are failing to topple over the giants of the industry, despite there being so many players just in general playing, because they just go back to what feels comfortable and what works. So now let's address another elephant in the room, Apex Legends. Notice up until this point I have not mentioned it, is because in the industry, I've done this many times before and I've thought about other games, the grass is not greener on the other side because we're looking at an industry problem. And to be honest, even with Marvel Rivals, once the gloss of exciting paint or the honeymoon phase, whatever word you want to use, what happens when that's over? I think Marvel Rivals is doing a fantastic job of maintaining content. But what happens when they have their first misstep? They've had a few missteps, but I think their communication is great. And I think any company, and video game company in general, is going to succeed with communication. Now, here's some real things from me as we go into our next point. I'm not quitting. I just think that this video is important. And what sucks is I don't really feel like I'm adding much to this conversation. But at the same time, I'm hoping to reinforce. That's my goal, to reinforce here. Because will my content change? No, I like making educational videos. I like improving. I like game training. I like trying to get better. I started this for fun, and I always try to maintain my fun of why I do this. But I would be lying if I wasn't impacted by the above principles in just FPS gaming to keep a fair environment. It doesn't excite me to run into cheaters. It doesn't excite me to feel like I'm not progressing in a game. And so all these are important. It makes me fearful how much is going to continue to be a problem. And does it excite me seeing players going by their action, favoring a game like Marvel Rivals? Sure, I'm fine with it, but let's make sure we see the reality here as well, that Marvel Rivals cosmetics are still expensive, but what we're getting in return is a lot from them, which is why I think people are seeing that it's okay. And I've been seeing cheating discussed in Marvel Rivals, but it's also a game that relies less on aim and more on timing of ultimates. Marvel Rivals, again, is succeeding immensely because of the amazing content, new characters, new maps, new modes, great communication, lots of adjustment, buffs and nerfs, and the gameplay loop just works. The game is stable, and while it does have bugs, it does have issues, it's it's got a solid foundation to jump off of. And that's what we need to see a lot more in this industry, is a lot of this, of the foundation. The foundation has to be sturdy. Otherwise, I mean, you're just throwing a gloss of paint over something and then the cracks start to show again. The foundation crumbles, and it's going to crumble just like Apex Legends has been running into a lot of these problems, just like Call of Duty, just like Rainbow Six Siege had to do Operation Health. I'm putting more on blast than just Apex, and I'm looking at a more logical conversation here than just rage baiting. I think what we're talking about here is a shift in the environment that has to happen. And so with Apex Legends, we're looking at a game that is 5+ years old. It does need content. I have seen a lot of creators quit, and who do you watch? What are you guys watching? How do you guys feel about it? I've been seeing a lot too. I've been seeing a mixed match here. I've been seeing where a lot of Apex people or players are just looking for a wholesome creator to kind of ride this wave with until things improve. Because I don't think Apex is a bad game. I don't think anybody will say it's a bad game. I just think that there's a lot that can be fixed, just like Call of Duty. I have never really played much of Call of Duty, but I assume underneath of why people play it is that it's fun. But we still have a lot of problems here. So again, it's wild to me that a lot is allowed, and we look at the Chronosen, Strike Packs, a lot of these cheating, and the line in the sand just has to be sharper. Because even games like we said, like Fortnite, are also looking to take this very seriously and ban this stuff. I'll give an example. You know, Marvel Rivals has even mentioned using Zims on a console, which is a mouse and keyboard. Somebody got banned for 100 years, which is crazy, which I think that's fine. Ban them. You know, using a mouse and keyboard on console, that if it's not the intention of what the developer wanted, is cheating. Now, Apex is not a bad game. I know I'm kind of repeating myself here. I just want to continue to play. I want to play, and it makes me feel like, well, what can we do? I feel stuck here. I don't know what to do. And that's why I'm making this video. I mean, I'm not going to address this every single week because there's nothing for me to really add at this point. I mean, videos like this don't really get views that are trying to be logical, they're trying to be fair. Even if I remove monetization on this video, it's not going to be discovered as much. But more views will help to get the word out and add to the conversation to show that a lot of people do take this seriously. They're more level-headed people about this, that we're looking at more of an environment problem in gaming. And then let's say if Apex dies, let's say Marvel Rivals dies, we're going to run into the same issue again until we can try to solve it. So I want to talk to you in the comments. This isn't a go touch grass moment. This isn't a moment where we rage at each other. This is a moment where we have to try to come with a logical conclusion. And what it feels like for me, that like I'm waiting for somebody else in higher power to make a firm decision that a lot of this stuff isn't okay. So this is a longer video. I didn't expect it to be this long, but I do want to thank you for watching. I know what I'm saying isn't new. I know it isn't a special video, but hey, I care, and it's kind of why I'm making it. So thank you guys again for watching. Another Marvel Rivals video will be tomorrow. I'll be streaming on Saturday, Apex Legends. We're still here. We're still gaming. I just hope that gaming culture in 2025 continues to improve. See you guys all real soon.